everyone, and welcome to this week's Children's Summer Reading Program. I am Miss Chelsea, and for this week's program, I'm going to be showing you how to do some yoga poses while telling the story. And you may not be familiar with yoga, but that's okay. It is simply an exercise that exercises both your mind and your body. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you some different poses while we tell this story. And if you want to join me, just put on something comfy and join me on the floor in this seated position. All right, so our story begins like all great stories do, once upon a time. There was a girl named Abigail, and she was getting ready to go on a field trip to the zoo with her class. And she was so excited to see all the different animals. But there was one animal that she was really nervous about seeing, a snake. Those weren't her favorite, but every time she thought about it, she got a little nervous. So to help calm herself down, she would take deep breaths. So this is one of our yoga poses we're going to do. So you're going to sit down like this with your palms on your knees, and you're going to, you can close your eyes if you want to, or keep them open. And you are going to take a deep breath in, and let it all out. Okay, so next deep breath in, I want you to imagine there's a balloon in here, and we're filling that balloon as big as we can. One more time. Good job. So as the class got to the zoo, they were greeted by their tour guide, Martin. And Martin took them all around the zoo, and the first animal they came to was the gorillas. And Martin told the class that gorillas are the biggest and most powerful primates on Earth. But they looked awful gentle to Abigail laying in the grass. So now we're going to do our gorilla pose. And if you don't have your shoes on, that's good for this pose. I still have my tennis shoes on. But what you're going to do is you're going to turn to the side, and you are going to bend forward from your hips here and go down, and try to keep your legs as straight as you can. But if you can't keep them perfectly straight, that's okay. So you're going to bend over and grab your toes like this, okay? And while we're here, let's take a few deep breaths. In through your nose and out through your mouth. The next animal Martin showed the class was a dingo. And a dingo is a wild canine found in Australia. But although it looks like a regular dog, Martin said to never touch a wild animal, even if it looks like man's best friend. So for this yoga pose, we're going to do a downward facing dog. So what you want to do is get on your hands and knees like this. And you're going to curl your toes under and push up. And put your ears in between your elbows like this. And while we're here, we're going to take in a few deep breaths. Go 1, and 2. Good job. Just past the dingoes was the animal that Abigail wanted to see the most, the lions. Abigail was a big cat lover, and not only that, she loved the manes of the lions. But she learned from Martin that those aren't just beautiful hair that the lions have, but they are also used as protection to protect their head and their neck from injuries when they get into fights. So for this pose, we are going to do the cat pose. So if you want to get on your hands and knees like we were before, and we are going to arch our back. So first you're going to go on a table position. So your arms are straight, your knees are below your hips, and your back is straight. And we are going to take a deep breath in and a deep breath out, and scoop our back up and our chin to our chest like a scaredy cat. And take a deep breath in and then go back out. when you arch back and forth, that's actually called a cat-cow. So when your belly goes low, that's a cow pose. And when your belly goes high, you're in a cat pose. Good job. So towards the end of the tour, Abigail and her classmates were taken to the reptile room. And that made Abigail a little nervous because she knew inside that room was the thing that she did not want to see, the snakes. So before she went in, she took a few more deep breaths to calm herself. So this time we are going to do what's called a lion's breath. So what we're going to do is we're going to take another deep breath in, but when we let our air out, we're going to stick our tongue out and go like a lion, like you're roaring like a lion. So again, I want you to take a deep breath in, feel that balloon in your belly, and straighten up through the crown of your head, and then let it all out. Good job. Let's do it one more time, okay? So we're going to take another deep breath in, feel that balloon, and let it out. Good job. Okay, so when Abigail got into the reptile room, she first saw all kinds of frogs. And one of those frogs was called a lemur leaf frog. And Martin told them that this bug-eyed frog could turn from brown to green like a chameleon. So for this pose, we're going to do a frog pose. So what you're going to do, I'm going to do it facing you, but you can do it the same way we were doing before. So we're getting on our hands and knees again, and you're going to take your knees as wide as you can. Some people can go really far, some not. I can't go too far. So we're going to spread our knees out, and then with your feet, you're going to turn your feet out like this. Okay, so then you're going to come down on your elbows like this and lift your head up, looking just ahead of you. Okay, so while we're here, let's take a couple breaths. Good job. So just past the frog displays was the snake. And Martin was going to take out a snake from one of its cages and let the class pet the snake. So what we're going to do for our pose here is we are going to lay on our bellies and do what's called a Cobra Pose or a baby Cobra Pose. So what you're going to do is you're going to get on your belly like this with our arms bent and kind of under us to our sides. So now we are going to do a baby cobra where we lift up just a little bit, like a little baby, okay? Or you can do a cobra pose, which you're going to lift up even further. Okay, so I'm going to do baby cobra for a couple breaths. Just lift up a little and look straight ahead. So as Martin went to reach into the cage to pull out the snake, his face changed. His eyes got really big, and he said, nobody panic, but it seems that our snake has got out. So if everyone could just please make an orderly exit out of the building. Abigail's worst fears were coming true. So she did as she was told, and she tried to calm herself with her breath, and she walked outside with her class. But as she got outside, she was feeling a little better, and the class was making their way to the exit. And as they were approaching the exit, one kid said, "Hey, look over there!" And as they looked up into a tree, there was the snake, draped across a branch, laying in the sun. So at this point, we're going to do what's called a tree pose. So there are many different ways to do a tree pose. So if you are not feeling it today, or you can't really lift your leg up very high, you can just do this. Kind of put your heel up on the side of your other leg with your knee pointed out. Or you can bring it up and kind of put your foot on the side of your calf muscle. Or if you're really flexible and feeling good, you can bring your foot all the way up to the inner thigh. I can't hold that pose very long, so I'll be doing my side calf muscle. But whatever you do, just don't put it right on your knee, because that kind of adds pressure to your joints that you don't want to do. So we're going to put our feet like that, and we'll bring our hand here, and we will hold this for a few breaths. And if you are feeling really balanced, you can take your arms out and lift them up however you want to do it, but I'll keep my hands here to help me balance. So let's take a breath in. Let it out. Another breath in. And let it out. Good job. So now that they had found the snake, Martin, Abigail, and her whole class and everyone at the zoo breathed a sigh of relief, knowing that the animal was back where it belonged and safe. So that is our story today. I hope you've enjoyed it. Maybe learned a little something that will help you when you feel nervous. You can take a few deep breaths to calm yourself, and maybe found a new interest in a new form of exercise. So hope you've enjoyed this again, and we will see you in next week's video. Thanks for joining me.